Hello there, my name is John Furness. I'm from the South Yorkshire Safer Roads Partnership. We were asked to do a short presentation on our latest venture into YouTube, where we've been creating a short series for young riders on basic maintenance. One of the reasons for this is obviously they are a high risk group, unfortunately. And the other problem is they are hard to reach. Unlike some of the older riders with ride outs, bike nights, local hangout spots, young riders just don't. We're lucky if we manage to come across two or three that are packed outside Maccadees or at their local Costa to engage with them face to face. From talking to the ones that we, at schools, colleges, when we go into training centres, one of the main issues that we do find is a lack of basic maintenance knowledge. Now, we have to say that in a lot of these circumstances, it's not their fault. It's not a case of they don't want to, it's a case of they don't know how to. It's covered on the CBT in terms of basic checks, but what to do afterwards, isn't covered. And unless you've got family, friends, or you're very friendly with your local bike shop, how do you find these things out? In our time, we've come across chains that are pretty much rusted solid. We also had one young lad's bike that we come across that parked up outside of college. Obviously, his evening's job was delivering hot food, but full marks to his bodging skills. He made his own rear rack on his scooter. Unfortunately, that consisted of a piece of MDF bolted to the plastic on the back of his scooter, and then he got a massive bag on the back of that for his deliveries, and just over time it had slowly lost all its structure and was pretty much blocking the whole of his rear light. So like we say, it's just a case of a bit of knowledge, a bit of confidence as well, just to do some basic checks and think about the safety of their actual vehicle. So we wondered, how can we help them? And we thought, we'd seen some of the Dr. Bike clinics for bicycles and things like that, but we'd not really seen anything for motorbikes, especially for young riders. So we thought, why not try it and see what kind of a response we get. If nothing else, it'd be a great way to engage with young riders in local communities. So we were a long way down the road of getting this sorted before COVID, but then when that came across, then obviously, like many other initiatives and campaigns and engagement opportunities, it came to an end. So we thought, how else can we do it? And then we thought, what about YouTube? There's thousands of how-tos, motorbike, scooter video clips on there. What's on YouTube? Do we have to create anything? Is there something already there that we can use and that we can tweak? So we did a bit of research, and unfortunately we couldn't find anything. It was, a very long, tedious research project, because what we found is we could find loads of YouTube videos on what we didn't want. Finding something that you would appeal to a young audience, was at a level that they would understand at pace, and didn't have somebody using 50 quid snap-on spanner. That was really hard to find. But then we come across one, and it was by a team called Make It Better, John and Kieran. They'd done a few articles in some of the motorcycling publications, but they'd also done they've got their own YouTube channel and done a few videos. And we watched these and they were just spot on. They were just exactly what we needed. They were done on their own bikes, the 125s, they love 125s, they think they're brilliant, and, we're along the same lines. So we got in contact with them and said, would you like to work with us and produce a series?
Hello and welcome to The Garage. I am John, and right there is my mate Kieran.
Hello.
Now we've got a little YouTube channel called Make It Better, and amongst other things what we do is quite a lot of tinkering on small bikes. So for that reason, South Yorkshire Safe Roads Partnership have been in touch to see if we can make some videos for you. So over the next few weeks, we're going to be putting together a host of videos covering these basic checks and minor maintenance tasks to make sure that you are safe when you get out on the roads. So we've got a couple of bikes out the front that we're going to have a little eyeball at, and we're going to see what we can do. Here we go then. These are the bikes we're going to be working on. We've got a Honda CG125 on the right and a Suzuki Dress 110 on the left. Now I've chosen these bikes because they sort of represent what you might be riding. Obviously we've got a geared bike on the right hand side and a scooter on the left, so it gives us a good opportunity to show you all the things you might need to do on either type of bike. As you can see, these are not show bikes. They're down to earth, scruffy workhorses, but the sort of thing you're likely to have at home. So whether you're in the garage or on the driveway, all you need is a few basic hand tools to get you started. So in this video, you won't actually need any tools at all, because this video is all about pre-ride checks. And they are the checks that you should be doing on your bike before you ride anywhere at all. Now, there's a method for remembering this. We learnt it on our test. You might have learnt it on yours. And that is the BOLT system, B-O-L-T. And that stands for brakes, oil, lights and tyres. So those are the four things we're going to look at this time. So the first check we're going to do here is on the brakes. It is really important to know before you set off riding that you can in fact stop riding. So we need to make sure before we even turn the engine on that the brakes are going to work. To do that, it's really simple. You just take the bike off the stand and you wheel it backwards and forwards manually and you test each brake in turn. So on the geared bike here, we've got the brake lever for the front brake is on the handlebars and the rear brake is here on the foot pedal. And on the scooter, it's even easier because you've got a front and back brake up on the handlebars. So just push your bike up and down, and in turn, just squeeze the levers and make sure that each of them will bring the bike to a good solid stop. Another good thing to do before you set off riding is to just quickly check your brake fluid level. Now, both of these bikes have hydraulic front brakes. You don't need to know what that means just right now. All you need to know is that there's a little reservoir here and it holds brake fluid. And on the reservoir you will see there is a little window which is often marked with a maximum level, if not a minimum level also. So on flat ground, just stick your head down there, just have a quick look and make sure that the fluid level is at least minimum, if not somewhere nearer the maximum mark.
So firstly, I have to hold his hands up and really apologise to John and Kieran. The video quality really does suffer, unfortunately, when you're recording this on Zoom. So, please, have a look at that episode on the YouTube channel, because the quality of the sound and the pictures from John and Kieran is fantastic. It's spot on and pinpoint. So please don't take that short clip as an example of the quality. It's a long way off, unfortunately, but it's unfortunately due to Zoom more than anything else. So as you can see from that, John and Kieran just got it. They were at a level where they could explain things really nice and simple, and it was at a pace that anybody could understand and go along with. So we created a series covering many of the basics, because what we found is it's all right telling people what to check, but if it's wrong, then what do you do? So that's what we've done. We really would say go to the YouTube channel and check out all the clips. They're no longer than, I think the longest is about 10.5 minutes. Most of them are around 8. As you can see, one thing we did come across quite early on is a real difference in the episodes themselves. Some people found some more interesting, some got really low numbers. So that was interesting for us. And hopefully, once we've completed the whole series, we'll have a lot better look into evaluating the episodes, what worked, what didn't, to hopefully look forward to do some more in the future. So, as you can see, the pre-ride check, the first one that we did, which was about October, November time, has got the most views. One thing we would say, a really good thing about the YouTube channel, is we're still picking up views. It's been a good 4 or 5 months since some of the episodes, but we're still ticking along in terms of picking up numbers. In terms of the pros and cons, you know, it's equally balanced, to be honest. We're no experts by a long way, so we're still learning as we're going along, changing things, adding things, tinkering with things. But one thing we would say is you really do need a manager that understands YouTube. You know, if it's somebody that doesn't, and you say, you know, can I do 2 days research on YouTube? Then they might look at you a bit funny and just think, you know, you just sat home watching videos. But yeah, you know, you really do need to have a look at YouTube and understand how it works to get started and have an understanding, boss. One of the things is there's endless analytics on YouTube. You know, you can spend days, weeks looking at it. We're still working it on ourselves, which are relevant to us, what we can use. And like I said, we're still midway through the actual campaign itself. So hopefully, once we're a little bit further down the line, at a later date, we'll have a proper evaluation and some backup information about how it went. In terms of working with YouTube, you know, we're still working through how it works, the analytics, but also the algorithms. Quite a lot of this stuff you don't have any control over. You know, it's set by YouTube, and you just have to work to what they need. We're also looking at how to interact better with our audience, so through the comment section. I also mentioned about evaluation, how we're going to do that. Advertising, you know, it is a tricky thing on YouTube. And also, you know, is it a legitimate way to engage with people? So just to finish off with, a few things that we've come across in the conclusions. Like I said, we're not experts by a long way, so we're still learning as we go ahead. But some of the things, you know, we've got a newfound appreciation for YouTube vloggers that do this day in, day out and make a living out of it, because it's not easy. You know, there's challenges in terms of the technology, the content, getting people to actually come and watch it. Because one of the things that we have learned through the analytics is just because somebody clicks through starts watching your YouTube video doesn't mean they actually watch it all the way through. So that's something to bear in mind for us when we do evaluate, and yourselves if you go down this road. Today's been a really good knock-on positive effect for our other social media outlets, because putting links to our YouTube series also gives us hits on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, which has been a good upside. What we would do again, we're already planning on working with John and Kieran on a similar series for new drivers. We're also looking at maybe another series on scooter and motorbike maintenance, because obviously it's an endless source of you know, programs, you know, initiatives, campaigns and things like that. We're still missing a few from the current series that we're hoping to get done once the restrictions end, on a couple of other subjects, one of them being also as well how to fix a puncture at the side of the road. So you know, there's still more valuable episodes to come from this first series. What we wouldn't do again is most definitely spend days watching how-to videos on analytics on YouTube about YouTube. You know, it is hard work. So like I said, we're still learning how it works and what information is useful to us, because a lot of it's for, you know, it's quite generic and it's more relatable to companies and maybe businesses. What we would change in the future, you know, like I said, we're still experimenting with the comment section, how we can interact better with the audience. But in terms of actually working with YouTube, what we would say is don't be afraid of it. You know, don't be scared. We've had very little negatives out of it. You know, the only ones that have cropped up have been more about the technology side, and obviously our lack of knowledge going into this as complete newbies. But what I would say is, you know, please look at it as an avenue to engage. You know, it's quite, you know, it's a free platform still to a certain level, but you do need a bit of help and advice when it comes to actually creating the content itself. You know, we have to say a massive thanks to John and Kieran. They made it dead easy for us because they've done most of the hard work, to be honest. And luckily for us, they just got it out of the box, you know, and they've been fantastic. So, like I said, what we would say is please go over to our YouTube channel and check out all the episodes. By the time this goes out, there should be the 6th that comes out next week, I think, which is all about their essentials for carrying on your scooter or motorbike, which is really good. So the other ones, like I said, cover battery care, oil changes, how to do check and adjust your brakes. So please go across, have a look at them. Also, they're in really good quality. So and it gives you a better idea of the kind of things that we've been trying to cover, and also the style, format and content that John and Kieran have put together for us. They're more than happy to be contacted, so you know, drop them an email. They've also got their own YouTube channel that's up and running, which we've also used some of the episodes on there on our social media, which are really good for learner riders. And also, you know, don't be afraid to drop us an email. Like I said, we're no experts by a long way, but we're more than happy to share what information and what we've learned so far. And apart from that, all we would like to say is thank you for your time, and hopefully, you know, if there's any other opportunities, we'll come back and report further when the series has actually come to an end, and we can do a bit more evaluation. But until then, thank you very much for your time.